Good afternoon, everyone. We're about to begin. If you could please take your seats and turn your cell phones off or place on silent, we'd appreciate. All right, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us at our 2022 September semester white coat ceremony. To our students, parents, family members, faculty, colleagues, both here and online, a special welcome to everyone. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this semester's white coat ceremony, but especially welcome our incoming semester 1 students. Today marks a very important milestone in your lives as you embark on your journey to join in this noble profession of medicine. And the significance of today's ceremony will be brought into sharp focus as you recite the modified Oath of Geneva. The white coat ceremony and donning of your white coats is not only empowering, but also symbolic of your initiation into the medical profession. This rite of passage emphasizes the academic excellence and the compassion for patients expected of you. You are here because you are all capable of being successful and going on to future careers as physicians. The persistence and grit you have demonstrated in preparation for this moment is truly commendable, and these same attributes will serve you well during the coming years. You come from very diverse backgrounds. You bring your life's experiences with you, your values, and your talent. All these things will help enrich the RUSM community, and we look forward to you all fully immersing yourselves in the many activities, both curricular and non-curricular, that we offer. At RUSM, we will embrace your varied attributes and help prepare you to be the best 21st century physician. The healthcare landscape is ever-changing due to varied healthcare needs and changing global trends. We are committed to preparing you to make a meaningful contribution in the field of medicine. This is a time like no other, a time when we all, with the rest of the world, have had to confront an enormous public health crisis. No doubt a defining experience of this century and one which marks the start of a rewarding journey for you. We are committed to bringing you an education that addresses the practice of medicine in the 21st century, fostering the development of professionalism and humanism. We will emphasize the responsibility you must hold true to, that of contributing to equity in healthcare delivery. If there is anything I would like to impress upon you, is that all of your patients deserve the same level of care, respect, and dignity as you deliver healthcare. Your experiences will help you realize the importance of humanism in medicine, and your sense of compassion will be required to ensure that you hold true to the values of the profession. The white coat will symbolize your professionalism, the vocational calling, and the trust placed in you by your patients. It is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to serve your patients, and you will come to cherish the highlights of your journey and be fulfilled in choosing to dedicate your lives to the needs of others as you embark on your career. We are very pleased to be part of shaping and molding you as you begin your remarkable journey, and welcome you to Ross University School of Medicine. At this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Heather Dyer. Dr. Dyer is the chair and professor in the Department of Clinical Foundations. She will now present on the meaning of the white coat. Dr. Dyer.
Thank you, Dr. McIntyre. And welcome to the class of 2026. Congratulations, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to speak on the meaning of the white coat And if you bear with me, we'll be loading a short presentation as well to guide you through the meaning of the white coat, and I will speak to that as well. Okay, so the expectations of the physician and the meaning of the physician's white coat. Welcome to your entry into medicine as a physician, and of course, a few comments about the white coat. So as you know, the white coat was not always white. And so we'll start off here with two images. To your left, you can see the Gross Clinic by Thomas Eakins, and the date here is 1875. And to your right, you'll see again the Agnew Clinic by the same artist, where he paints again, and you'll see the difference as well in the coats. So if you notice to the left, the doctors at that time and the surgeons, their coats were black. And then we fast forward again 14 years later, and we'll see that the coat is now white. And why was that? You know, from a perspective of not the washing machine yet not being widely used, the opportunity to camouflage any blood or other bodily secretions, again, were made much easier by wearing the black coat. Again, surgeons at that time did not wear gloves during surgery. I know it seems almost bizarre, right? But, you know, as we know, medicine evolves from that side. And it was certainly a color that hid evidence of a day's work. And I should also note that in 1889 as well is when Dr. Joseph Lister proposed the novel idea that hands should be washed before placing them inside a patient's body. And so gloves were being worn, as well as more attention to hygiene and you know, prevention of sepsis. And so surgeons began to don white as their work attire. And so it was then you notice that the symbolism of the white coat being used as scientific professions and healthcare professionals became more and more frequent, as well as the symbol of hope and the fight against illness, death, and disease. So what does the white coat mean? Here's an example of a white coat. But today is the last day that you see a white coat as simply a white coat. And what do I mean by that? The white coat is also the opportunity here today in front of all of us that you begin your journey. And you'll see here several sort of flyers about, you know, I'm sure you've all of, or if not some of them you're familiar with, where there's always this epic journey and there's success at the end. But the journey is sometimes long, it's quite arduous, but hanging in there and persevering is the goal at the end of the day. And so just again, looking here at your hero's journey and taking you through when you get the call. So I'm sure some of you knew from birth when you were going to be physicians, others got the call at certain stages, but you got the call and you're here now with us and you're about to begin. You may have some who have supported you or who have doubted you along the way, but you're here. And here we begin. So you're at the start of this journey. And as you know, there are ups and downs in this journey, as with everything that's worth having. And you're off on this amazing adventure. Anything is possible, and anything is possible. But at some point in time, there's going to be challenges. And how do you approach those challenges? Because to go through the challenge and the journey to come out on the other end, there's going to be challenging times. And this is when we feel overworked, overwhelmed. We may feel emotional, angry, tired, guilty, depressed. We have lots of support services here for you, I'm sure you're aware of. But that's the time when you're really, you know, self-doubt, times when the crunch is on, high stakes, but you keep going through and you keep persevering. And you may even doubt whether or not the journey is worth it. What have I started? What have I begun? But you keep going. And you can see passing through that situation or that moment in time helps you to start getting to your goal. And along the way, the people next to you, faculty here, your family, colleagues, friends will be helping you, you know, surmount that challenge, getting through the obstacles. And the team effort and the support system here is very important. And you make it to the top again, and you go through a transformation, you go through a breakthrough, because then you have this experience that no one else can describe because you've gone through it, and the others who probably can sympathize and empathize with you are those who have gone through that journey as well. And then you actually realize the purpose of the journey. So you return home with a gift. In your case, it's your MD, commencement ceremony, 4 years down the line. Yes, and then you continue on again with the other journey as well, which is again the residency, the applications, and all of the training that you have to do after that. And so I just want to just spend just a few minutes on embracing the challenge, because I think it's important that we accept that there are going to be challenges. And so often we run away from the challenges or we fear the challenge. But I want you to appreciate that the challenge is inevitable in life. But the option as to how you approach those challenges depends on you and the tools that you have and the support systems that you have. So I thought some very interesting quotes and inspiring quotes on embracing the challenge, because the challenge is part of the journey. And they're there for you to see and to be aware that it's okay to be scared, but you keep going. Because to stretch and to grow, you have to go through the challenges. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we gain our experience, right? And so success is as a result of persevering and toiling through the challenge. And the last one I find very comforting in a way. When you see a challenge approaching, grab your courage and speed up. Don't run away. So the grace to go through that challenge and to appreciate the need for the challenge is something that I want all of you to really focus and appreciate on when the going gets tough. And so you'll see here as well that the symbolism of the white coat, it may mean to you all of these things here. Yes? I'm sure some of these already resonate with, if not all of us. Yes? And a lot more you can see here. Teamwork and you know, a sort of kindred with other health professionals, accountability to the public, to the patient and the profession. But what does it mean to others, your white coat? When you put that white coat on, what does that mean to the others who see you in that white coat? And here again are some of these. I'm sure when you're taking your honor code, you'll see a lot of these resonating as well. So you have the choice of what you want to do when you have that gift. Do you want to have a positive effect and impact positively on lives of your colleagues, yourselves, and your patients, or detrimental effect on health? And I'm sure that everyone agrees that would not be the case. So you have that choice, and we're here to guide you with that choice. And so Dr. Townsend had an excellent quote: "The good physician does all the good that he can to all the people that he can, she, in all the ways that he can." And of course, self-care, I put that in there just to let you know that 24/7, although it is a white coat that you're wearing and you have that symbolism, but you also have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. And of course, the beaches are part of that as well. So we have, as we wrap up here, the great expectations by this writer, again, Anna Quindlen, who says, "By virtue of choosing the profession, we expect you to be better than the rest of us." Better in terms of communication, in terms of accountability, in terms of taking the high road if someone's emotional patients and, you know, not responding in the way that you would expect them to be because of the calling that you have chosen. And another quote from the movie A League of Their Own: "It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. And the hard is what makes it great," harking back to that, embracing the challenge and appreciating the need to go through the challenges in life. And so I want to say thank you again. Welcome, success on your first step of your journey. And you'll see who this is very shortly. This is another example of what's waiting for you at the end of your journey. So we're very proud of you and want to congratulate and welcome you to RUSM again, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dyer, for those wonderful remarks. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Sunal Bhatia. Dr. Bhatia is the Chief Medical Officer for the Rare Diseases Unit at Pfizer, Inc. She earned her medical degree from Ross University School of Medicine in 2002 and did her residency at Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York. Her focus at Pfizer's Rare Disease Department is on bringing innovative medicines to patients with rare diseases. She is passionate about leading the organization to become the trusted partner and demonstrated leader in the rare disease community. Prior to this role, Dr. Bhatia held the position of Vice President, North America Medical Affairs Lead for Rare Disease. In this capacity, she played a key role in the successful launch of tafamidis, a new medicine for ATTR cardiomyopathy. She also has experience preparing the healthcare marketplace for innovative solutions, driving the delivery of medicines to patients, which should be critical to our future gene therapy pipeline. Dr. Bhatia previously served as Senior Medical Director and Team Lead, bringing about a new medicine called Eliquis, an oral anticoagulant. Dr. Bhatia is actively involved with nonprofit organizations focused on reducing healthcare disparities, specifically access to cardiovascular health, healthy living, and being a catalyst for change in women's health. She currently serves on the board of directors for the American Heart Association and is on the executive leadership for AHA Go Red for Women. I now welcome Dr. Sunal Bhatia to the podium.
Good afternoon, and thank you for such a warm welcome. I am so proud to be here 24 years from the first day that I was here. It's truly, truly a privilege to be standing in front of our first semester students at Ross University School of Medicine. And quite frankly, I never thought I would actually be here at a podium back in the day. So thank you. I've been reflecting actually since I got invited to this ceremony, and I reflected on the last 2 decades of my life. I actually had to make a calculation and say, really, it's been 2 decades already? A little surprising. But I realized that there's so much that all of you have in common with what I believe in. Number one, it's our passion for science. Our passion of science and the belief that science is going to win is really why we all pursue the career of medicine. The second one is that we are all succeeding, but along the way, we've faced a lot of challenges. Those challenges that you heard earlier today will continue through our journey, but that's also why we're here and what commonly keeps us together in our purpose and what we're trying to accomplish. But the third one, and I think the most important one, is our commonality for finding purpose to serve. And that is why we're here today. We're here to serve humanity. And you've chosen a profession to serve as a noble physician. And I think it's so exciting to just think about that for a moment and reflect that that is what is going to keep you going for the next decade of your journey. So today, I hope that I can share a little bit about my journey, which is a little unique, but I hope that it inspires you to recognize that not every journey that you take is going to be the same, and that you get to forge ahead with the path that you choose to take, and along the way, the skill sets that this institution gave me will be the same ones that you get to be able to persevere with grit, as you heard today. So let me start with 24 years ago when I started and when I was sitting in the same audience with my white coat and the pride that I felt at that moment. So when you think about it, 24 years ago, that means I graduated exactly 20 years from Ross University School of Medicine with a commencement that we had at the Lincoln Center in New York. And I believe that what I experienced in my career, and I pivoted quite a bit, and I will share that with you today, there was still that foundational drive, a drive to serve patients, a drive to be a physician, a drive to actually be out there serving a community. And that foundational drive has kept me going for the next 2 decades of my life. What I do have to say is, as you go through your journey, remember that you have to stay flexible. You have to adapt. There's so much changing in our environment at a much faster pace than ever before. So if you can be flexible, if you can adapt, if you can pivot, you are going to then be truly finding that meaning and that purpose that is your true reflection of what you want to be one day. Because we all do want to be physicians, and we are all, many of us here, already physicians. But what is it that you want to do as a physician is what you need to think about as you go through your journey. So taking myself back a few more decades, as a young girl, I was an Indian girl. I grew up in Mexico City, and I lived there 13 years. And one of the first things that I experienced is that I came from a very different culture. And I lived in a country that I learned it was a challenge to live in a country where it was a community of commonality. So I'm going to repeat that. I lived in a community of commonality, which is not where we live today anymore. And yet that experience for 13 years gave me that desire to be able to bring people together and bring cultures together and find a way to give equity in everything that I did. Because I experienced so much of lack of it, that was a foundational element for me in those first few years. And I believe that was the foundation of the grit that has helped me to get through the rest of my life. My other very formative experiences were spending a year in India and seeing my grandfather actually practice medicine in a very traditional way that I had never experienced before. He actually had a store, and at his store, patients would come in, they would tell him what was bothering him, and he would have herbs that he would be able to put together and give it to them, and that they would walk out because they knew that this was actually going to solve their ailment. And along the way, there was a lot of chit-chatting about how's your family doing and what's happening in the neighborhood. And seeing that in those early years made me feel like the seed was there of why I wanted to be a doctor, because I wanted to be part of that ability to actually fix a patient's ailment. And the fact that my grandfather was doing it in such a unique way was very inspiring. Years later, when I was in middle school, I would play with my friend in her mom's doctor's office, and we would play outside. And that was how play dates happened in those days. And what was really memorable to me was the opportunity to wear the white coat with my patients. And that white coat gave me so much of a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, but immense responsibility to the patients that we serve, because now a patient's journey was in my hands. And that sense of responsibility made me reflect of how much, maybe those 4 years were not enough. Maybe I needed another 4 years before I could go through it. But the white coat gives hope to our patients. And I recall, and it's a memory that I have very deep-rooted in cancer. And I thought about it a lot to the point that in my 3rd year, everyone was excited about either the practice they were joining or the fellowship that they had chosen for themselves. And I was not feeling that. There was a sense within me, that gut instinct that you should always listen to, and you needed to listen. I pivoted, and I told my parents, to their chagrin, that I wanted to do something different. Remember, this is after a career in medicine, the debt that we've acquired along the way. But nonetheless, I truly believed there was more I could do, and I wanted to try it. I got board certified. I kept that as my ability to go back and pursue something different, to pursue back into clinical practice if I ever needed to. But then I went and found something else. And in those days, It was very hard to know what else is there out there for somebody out there with a fresh degree and coming out of residency. And I ended up in a consulting firm that was interested in my profile. And I thought, well, why would they want someone coming out of residency? Why would a consulting firm even need that? Well, they apparently had a very large medical affairs group of peers just like myself, MDs, PharmDs, PhDs. And their goal was to help understand and communicate the science for a lot of breakthrough medicines that were coming in the pipeline for many pharma companies. I didn't even know what pharma company did in those days. I think this audience knows a lot more than we knew back then 24 years ago. So I took on that challenge and that opportunity, and I decided, let me try it, and if I don't like it, I'll go back to practice at Mount Sinai, and that was fine. Of course, my program director at Mount Sinai wasn't exactly thrilled with my decision, and so I pivoted. I pivoted against all tides and decided to pursue something different. And I have to say, as I was going through that process, I was immensely shocked at what I was learning along the way. I recall thinking everything that I learned at Ross University was just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to be learned to be able to help patients. And so 2 years later, I had the opportunity to join Pfizer. And I jumped at that opportunity because they had a new, shiny new medicine for diabetes patients, which was called inhaled insulin. And I thought, wow, that is, talk about bringing something innovative that we can put in the toolkit for our physicians to be able to give their patients. And I was very excited. I literally was there for a few months until the company decided to bring that medicine off the market. And it was a very difficult moment for me as a physician because I knew our patients needed it. But they decided to take it off the market because, guess what? Patients were not accepting it. We had not listened to our patients' voice. What we thought was innovative for them was extremely complex, and it's not something they wanted to try from the True-Entide insulin that they were used to. So unfortunately, it was a learning, but a learning that I chose to take to heart and say, from now on, we're also going to listen to the patient's voice as we're thinking through the innovation that we bring through the enterprise. So I then found my path to work on a product called Lipitor, which I think everybody knows here. It's a statin. And I got to experience the role of medical affairs in a pharmaceutical company and the value that we provide by generating a lot of data to help support physicians' ability and confidence to actually prescribe a medicine based on the data that we're developing. Years later, I then pivoted to another medicine because it was in the early stages of drug development, and I wanted to experience what it's like to take a medicine through the drug development process all the way through regulatory approval. And that was Eliquis, which is an oral anticoagulant. And as you all have learned, warfarin is being used quite a bit. And this was meant to be something to allow patients who have hip or knee surgeries to have an alternative oral solution, not have to be hospitalized, or patients who've had atrial fibrillation to have stroke preventions in them. It was quite innovative. And I had the ability to experience working with another pharmaceutical company to bring this to life, negotiating, influencing, partnering with another company, the tenacity of having to challenge status quo. All of these skill sets helped me to prepare me for the next role. So 6.5 years ago, I then moved to rare diseases. And I didn't know a lot about rare disease. I mean, we all in medical school had a chapter and maybe a few pages on the different types of rare diseases that were known at that time, 24 years ago. So I didn't quite know a lot about it, and it became my desire to learn about what does this mean and what does it mean for the patient. And it was full circle in my experience to recognize that everything that was being done in the rare disease segment of Pfizer was really to serve that underdog, that patient that is quote unquote forgotten because we've been talking about all the common diseases, but we just never stop to think about the rare ones, where they are, what's their journey like, how do they feel, and what can we do for them. A typical rare disease patient can cycle through a patient journey for over a decade, without even knowing the type of rare disease that they have. And then when they finally get to that end of cycle, to be told that we don't have any options for your cure or for your treatment, that's not why we want to be a doctor. We want to be able to give them hope because our white coat is a sense of hope for every patient. So rare disease became what was fueling my passion at that time. And now, in my last almost 2 years, I'm now the Chief Medical Officer for Global Rare Disease, where we look after a lot of rare diseases: hemophilias, growth hormones, Gaucher's disease, sickle cell disease, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and a lot in the pipeline. And I think it's exciting every time I talk to a patient to know that they look at us in hopes that our clinical trials will succeed, and that when they succeed, we now can work through the regulatory pathway. We can work through the payers. We can work through external stakeholders and patient advocacy groups to not only explain their journey, explain why they need their medicine, and to actually be able to prescribe or give every physician the ability to prescribe a medicine for a rare disease that maybe a decade ago we didn't even know about. And that is exactly why I pursued my journey in a very different path. I did realize through my journey that science, business, and communication are so critical when we think about the world outside of traditional clinical practice. But at the same time, I want to come back to patients, because if you miss the boat with patients, if we miss the boat on understanding what they do, then we're actually not serving them. Then we're serving something else. And that something else is not helping humanity, and it's not helping our desire to be the physicians that we hope to be one day in this room. Now, I've talked a lot about various skill sets: negotiation, influence, tenacity, grit. But to be honest, all of those were seated right here at Ross University. This is where we got all those skill sets. In fact, the grit that it took each and every one of you to come to Ross University already makes you very distinct from other peers from other medical schools. And yet the skill sets you get here and the ones that I got, we have to continue to water these seeds. And I spent the last 2 decades watering each of these seeds to be able to shape my own journey in a very unique pathway, undoubtedly. And it's a pathway that I'm extremely proud of. I often get asked, if there's anything you could have done differently, what would it be? And my answer is always nothing, because I have fallen, I have risen, I have learned through my challenges, I've taken on opportunities no one's done before, and I think I've created a pathway that is quite unique to what I need to serve for, and that what ultimately serves my own purpose. And that's what I hope that each one of you will be able to do. But along the path, you need a group of people that help support you. I remember my mom would always say, go do anything you want, just make sure you love what you do. And she was really always there pushing me to go to med school, whether it's on an island or not. She pushed me to it. She was there to hold my hand, along with my dad, as I pivoted a journey that was a little very uncomfortable for them. I had my little brother who would hold my hand every time I had to tell my parents, guess what? I decided to change and I want to do something different. He was always there to support, and having those support pillars are very, very important. They're going to help you as you go through your journey for the next decade or so. So think about who they are. Think about what gives you the courage to be in this room, and what is it that you want to serve, because that foundational element will be needed, and you'll need to reflect on that every time you go through one of those pits And I promise you, there'll be a lot of pits. They will continuously be there. But it's how you get out of them, and the community of the Ross University students here that will hold each other's hand to get out of the pit. I also I'll remind everybody of something very important, that is the sense and urgency that I have to help the future generation. And to me, you are the future generation. And it's time for me to give back. And I have a sense of pride in being able to not only share my journey, but help people shape their own. I hope that what I have experienced and what I have challenged allows my own daughter and my son to feel empowered, to have the confidence and the freedom to fly and do what they want with their careers. But at the same time, we all have to help each other in a community to foster the sense of duty that we have as future physicians that are coming out of the room. So it's really up to you to define your purpose. Know that we all here are here to support you. I myself, you can find me on LinkedIn. I know some of you have already asked and reached out to me. But I do want to thank the community here, especially the faculty, for giving me the opportunity not only to graduate from Ross University, but to let me share a very unique journey, not so traditional, but yet one that is so impactful, because at the end of the day, every single patient matters. And that is what we're here for today. Thank you.
Very inspiring words, Dr. Bhatia. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and the students. We are now going to prepare for our peer group leaders to recognize each of you individually. Before we do so, I would like to invite our faculty who are going to don the students up on the stage. Can I have the first 10 of you come to the stage, please? Up until Dr. Jakubowski. Yes. Right. I'd also like to invite now all of our first semester students who are able to please stand. Right.
Valentina Caminos, Megan Flynn, Ariel Hall, Celine Longo, Alexandra Ochoa, Karen Orenstein, Chandani Sakthi,
Sapanta Alamuti, Siri Chaluka, Amondi McIntyre, Cameron Rotbart. Please don your white coats. Juliette Hahn, Teresa Lin, Rachel Divaker, Japni Kaur Gill, Chinyere Okereke, Basira Olurunlambe, Reina Ellie Plancher, Jessica Zachary,
Kelsey Dresites, Elena Rubenacker Odell, Keegan Church, please don your white coats. Kiana Hopkins, Fadi El Mojahid, Lexi Mathis, Justin Porter, Jay Swami, Juan Vera, Michael Walsh,
Shadin Al-Jadei, Kwame Bell, Angel Capiello, Kyle Berrois. Please don your white coats. Wyatt Newman, Adobe Amanda Nwankwo, David Rivera Vieira, Olotito Robert, Sean Rockwell.
Jillian Dooley, Anthony Abeda, Nadia Davis, Molly Muir, Connor Jenish. You may don your white coats. Jenna Kindig, Melissa Livingston, Khurshid Siddiqui, Sophia Sadiq, Lily Shia, Madison Whitney,
Italia Cohen, Janialis Rivera Arocho, Favor Obikaram, Gerline Kaur, Beatrice Cooper-Schmidt. Please don your white coats. Olivia May, Ana Maria Petri, Allison Pomerleau, Alexis Obregon Rodriguez, Lioga Tita, Dion Uzibor,
Aznib Agababian, Abdulrahman Almeki, Sami Amir, Mercedes Dayari, Christina De Leon. Please don your white coats. Regina Demerit, Amy Garcia, Cedra Jamal, Anthony Lynn, Anthea Ojadi, Camille Cornell Pere, Kiana Therese Washington,
Patricia Bennett, Nikiru Chukule, Caroline Hernandez, Perna Magar. Please don your white coats. Oluwatobi Onolaja, Kathleen Silverman, Kayana Valentine, Jacole White, Deandra Williams.
Angel Vu, Saravani Valabanini, Nathaniel Surtu, Malakiva Ramakrishnan, Ali Raja, and Joseph Pham. Oh, please don your white coat. Jacob Sadinger, Leah Cade, Bailey Hollingsworth, Zara Hussein, Michelle Anihe.
Taylor Arnold, Selena Becker, Zai Hao Kai, Carissa de la Cerda, Cassandra Metlick, Giovanna Mishlovnik, you may don your white coat. Myra Naeem, Shivani Patel, Alexandra Ross, Crystal Sturkin, Kayla Thompson, Sydney Thurmond.
Gladys Elizabeth Tejada, Patricia Joseph, Kylie Sauer, Oyinda Mola Abby Peter, Ryan Shami. You may don your white coats. Bipasha Saha, Yati Patel, Sarah Alexandria Mortel, Faith Taylor Brown, Samuel Bonsu Jr., Asfa Alvi, Jovia Williams.
Rafa Abdul Rahman, Rahil Chandra, Gavort Davtian, Emily French, please don your white coats. Nikhil Gaul, Elijah Jamal Hawkins, Eric Mactrin, Wyatt Mentelman Alvis, Nathaniel Peckus, Bilal Sheikh, Robert Sprague.
Hamza Noelty, Jonathan Tyler Todd, Noam Riva Ron, Jimmy Ramos, Harsh Bharat Patel. You may don your white coats. Harsh Bharat Patel, Thomas Richard Mas, Daria Kachonik, Mohammed Jalil Kanan.
Shravya Imbadabudi, Dimitra Pargar, James Lee Sherry, Aaron Dolan, Vincent Gladison, Ashley Naomi Miller, and Amina Mahad Ali Madar. You may please don your white coats. Camille Nurse, Marianne Sargisian.
Elena Amir, Sanjukta Paracharchi, Abhiravi Charthram, Tiffany Chin, Sarah Edaho, Callista Jarak, Emilia Johnson, Patrick Lahan. No, that was it. You may now don your white coats.
And at this time, I'd like to thank the faculty for participating. If you can exit to your left. And the next 10 faculty, if you want to make your way up to Dawn.
Linda Oster, Cody Street.
Ralph Anishiete, Haula El Mardi, Josephine Vashanu, Chanel Kamika, Trupti Patel, Marissa Simmons.
Kyle Archer, Christian McCarr, Gunther Matagon, Anthony Chu. You may now don your white coats. Theodore Flint Panong, Johnson Noel, Johnny Samawi, EQ Sun, Lucy Rendon, Reginald Williams II, J.U.
Joanna Kanagaraja, Sarah Nasser, Georgette Damukong, Thalia Palomino. Please don your white coats. Johnny Petit, Gemini Phillips, Zoya Sear. Angelina Tran.
Ismail Emmett. Jacob Batiki. Darren Bell. Ryan Boyd. Mauricio Chiriboga. Jalen Garcia. Chetis Joseph. Please don your white coats. Ever Martinez. Zeke Omori. Mohammed Warach.
Carl Brizolt. Carl Corgelis. Muhammad Farouk. Joshua Frank. Nicholas Valentino. Emily Johnstone. Connor Chensi. And John Mernon. You may don your white coat. Nicholas Hodges. Colby Williams. Michael Zajac.
Isra Amer. Laura Ayala. Thea Lackman. Zuhair Chouet. Jasmine Kamole. Trevina Matthias. Albert Osei. Jatera Robinson. All right, you may don your white coats. Shayan Siddiqui. Anna Shafi. Sheila Alice Taidi. Ernestina Badu Wiafe.
Olomakide Adeyemo. Mohamed Ataye. Neil Bahatasha. Mohamed Zahin Bukahari. Vivek Kapadia. Ridvek Mali Reddy. You may don your white coats now. Garrett Sakamoto. Peter Wang. Udochukwu Ngwoke. Maria Joselina Saroku Villanueva. Rupert William. Olamide Angel Mustafa. Grover Barron.
Evan Baker. Josh Baldonado. Hunter Gonzalez. John Collini. You may don your white coats. Raul Matos Holmes. Michael Millman. Royce Nagai. John Padlin. Joshua Padlin. Matthew Wiesner.
Alan Bruno. Jimmy Cedeno Franco. Patrick Daddio. Ricardo Llanos. Jesse Montairu. Marjona Nurilaiwa. You may don your white coats. Kenton Patrick Riley. Lawrence Christian Stryber. Mohammed Taha Yunus. Dakota Rain Karstensen Top. Caleb Bonsu. Madison Doan. Preston Cole Pisano. You may don your white coat.
Thank you, faculty. We appreciate it.
Congratulations again to our in-person class of 2026. Now we would like to recognize our first semester students who are participating remotely.
Anuj Ashwin Bhatt. Francesco Adonisio Dart. Mohammed Newman Ahmed. Raj Ajudia. Jonah Alamo. Melanie Alfonso. Sayud Ali. Ima Ziad Al-Obaidi. Rosso Al-Sudani. Jackson Altima. Obinson Altima. Jocelyn Alvarez Gonzalez. Kujo Amanfu. Lucille Abba Arthur Olerende. Husna Babar. Kushwant Singh Buller. Hunter Burrows, Ramandeep Kaur Chahal, Natalie Changcharalek, Javier Chavez Jr., Caleb Crowder, Corrine De Los Santos, Sakaren Donko, Mark Diaz de Celis, Caitlin Alicia Ditmar, Petimat Dudurkaiwa, Akila Ichempati, Carlos Enyi Ensi, Franco Adolfo Falcon, Zara Faraj, Ahmed Faruqi, Kevin Fernandez, Elias Figueroa Mego, Jupiter Emboys Com Fleurimont, Vivek Gupta, Marcus Harrison, Kamaya Hicks, Emily Alexis Holton, Hamza Iqbal, Iman Fadl Jassim, Arden Douglas Johnson, Aurelie Giotza, Prachi Kapadia, Morella Kasumovich, Shahad Khan, Vishnu Kodi Churla, Marshall Cotrain, Archit Kumar, Subanita Kumaran, Esther Kumets, Grigor Kupelyan, Irma Jamilet Leo, Dane Lemons, Kang Lor, Duck Vin Lee, Alicia Lynch, Ariana Maywandi, Alexandria Mann, Zachary Martin, Nemonin Maryunani, Eben Mathai, Ty Andrew Malden, Comfort Zainab, Christopher Meister, Azin Nejad, Ayana Dominique Montague, Enya Morera, Evan Nicholas Moritz, Amber Verlina Mungo Price, Pavlo Navrota, Sidoni Gangmi, Patrick O'Dowd, David Alarunmala, Carice Apoku, Arjun Pal, Janisa Patel, Meet Patel, Rajna Pahu Patel, Tanvi Patel, Maria Camila Patino, Megan Pelahak, Alexander Michael Preissig, Usman Kazi, Isabella Rangel, Danielle Ridley, Kiana Gabrielle Palazzo, Talia Rodriguez, Jennifer Rosa Almeida, Alexandra Nicole Russ, Giovanna Renee Rutherford, Vicky May Saturn, Nicole Mohan Samuel, Rayon Shamit, Olivia Catherine Shaw, Alexander Sher Jones, Ariba Hadia Siddiqui, Hamza Rayhan Siddiqui, Sarah Selim St. Pierre, Asia Starks, Shane Susik, Sherry Tabak, Sushma Shrivali Tadi, Jessica Tayis, Manveer Thind, Manveet Thind, Ryan G. Thompson, Mona Lisa Tinai, Mark Trajano, Rebecca Tai, Whitney Ugo Ada Ugo Mbemene, Cheryl V. Velikalam, Janae Vance, Courtney Beth Foyles, Kurt Waldron, Farah Wally, Marna Jock Wiu, Sophia Wine, Erij Eunice, Ruth Ebabu Zodu,
Congratulations again to all our first semester students, those of you here in person and those of you who are remote. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Hilary Moore, Assistant Professor, Department of Clinical Foundations, to lead the recitation of the Modified Oath of Geneva. As Dr. Moore leads the recitation of the oath, she will read one line, pause, and you will repeat after her. A copy of the oath can be found in your white coat program. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite all our first semester students who are able to please stand. If you are a physician, either watching online or here with us in person, we also invite you to participate in reciting the Modified Oath of Geneva. So please stand as well. Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Dr. McIntyre. Students, repeat after me. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease, or disability. Creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality. Political affiliation, race, sexual orientation. Social standing or any other factor. To intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me. Even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. In accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Congratulations, class of 2026.
So your journey has officially begun. Congratulations. I would now like to welcome to the podium Dr. Brian Hayes, the Associate Dean of Student Affairs. Dr. Hayes, will you please come up?
I don't even have to say, you may be seated. Good job. How we feeling? I told you I was the end and to get ready. So first of all, give a round of applause to your peer mentors. Seriously. I mean, one, they've done an amazing job all week working with you guys, but the name calling, bless you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So heartfelt congratulations to all of you. It's truly a momentous occasion to officially don your white coat. This moment is a rite of passage as you continue your transition into the medical profession as a doctor in training. Even at this early stage of the journey, you are bound by the same professional commitments that bind all physicians. Through this ceremony, and by taking the oath, you have pledged to walk on the path of virtue, altruism, responsibility, duty, honor, respect, and compassion. To help remember these commitments, each of you have been provided a white lapel pin from the Arnold P. Gold Foundation. The foundation not only founded this ceremony, but continues to champion humanism in healthcare by emphasizing compassion, collaboration, and scientifically excellent care. Use this as a reminder that we can together create systems and cultures that support humanistic care for all. As we've said, this is not the end of a journey, but the beginning of the next chapter. As you move forward, you will undoubtedly encounter trials and tribulations as spoken about before. During these times, I challenge you to first look back at that moment when you knew this was your dream. It was your calling. Then this moment, when that dream took a momentous step forward, becoming reality. Dig in, rely on your colleagues, professors, mentors, members of your learning community, and the plethora of other resources at your fingertips to help you through any dark times that you may face. Continue to learn, grow, and ultimately become that physician you've envisioned yourself being countless times looking in the mirror even before today. Finally, take a few moments over the next few days to make a list of anyone that's helped you get to where you are today. Reach out to them and acknowledge their contribution, not only to your life, but the lives of the many patients that you will help and change the lives of in the future. Without your families, friends, mentors, and yes, even those detractors you've had in your life throughout the way, this journey may not have been possible. Congratulations again. Give yourselves a hand.